the symptoms that I had were from a depression, right? And here in Germany, they actually have this thing that they call certain forms of depressions that come from, for example, too much work, too much, when you're working. So they actually call it has this, that's the English name that it has, that's called burnout. And then there's a second form of depression that has the same symptoms. Also, a lot of people think it comes from overwhelm, but when you look at it, it's not from overwhelm, it's actually from underwhelm. Sort of, because, and this is funny because I hadn't heard because of course I started therapy back then. And I remember my therapist saying, no, you don't have a burnout, you have a boreout. That's what they call it here. And boreout basically means that you don't see, that you don't see purpose, that you don't see a reason, for what you're doing. You don't have the drive for it because it just doesn't make sense. It's like, it doesn't have sense for you anymore. And, but what I realized with that thing, knowing now with everything, that I learned later on, the Hawaiians came and helped me understand everything about energy. And one of the main things that I understood with that, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, is because things can happen because of an overwhelm within us, right? It doesn't have to be just outside, but it can be within us. And for me, the best way to describe that means that something happens in the outside and we start having a resistance towards it. It's like, we don't want this to happen. And I'm sharing this especially for both traits, because as empaths, we tend to not want certain energies. So we start going into hyperdrive to, no, I don't want this, right? So we start resisting it. And that resistance makes us really tired, makes us really go into that. Like, I realized that meetings with the right kind of people, maybe you have realized for yourself, meetings with the right kind of people feel good, feel amazing. And you're like, oh my God, this is so good. This feels so good, right? And you don't feel overwhelmed afterwards because it's the right kind of people. The moment there's people there that trigger something within you, and with that I mean that resistance inside of us, because either they have values that we don't vibe with, or you can go deeper into this